Klarna announced launching of a stablecoin called KlarnaUSD, which will be linked to the United States dollar. What do you think, Igor? What's the main reason why Klarna did this?
In one way, it's simple, and another one, let's see the consequences. As we discussed maybe during the summer, everyone is jumping into the bandwagon for the stablecoins. It's sexy, it's trendy, it's marketing appealing. I think we will see the stablecoins from even smaller names and gives an ability to attract more customers and provide some unified method for the settlement in cheaper sending of the funds. So my assumption that for the next year and a half, we potentially will see a lot of different stable coins appearing on the market, and the unification and kind of aggregation of the existing stable coins will happen after that, which potentially will give us, I don't know, 10 more usable stable coins with the approach winner takes it all. So right now we see that USDC and USDT are leading by capitalization and by the usage stable coins, but it still gives an ability to other key players to introduce their own stable coins and hope to get a specific market share in the future. So logical, promising, but let's see how it will form, because we all saw the financial report of Klarna, and maybe that's a step that they're trying to do to improve their financial numbers and prove the market that they still have a lot of potential and the ability to deliver.
That's correct. We have to mention the fact that Klarna, it's a very important thing to mention, that Klarna is preparing to launch this. They announced the launching, but the launching itself will happen in first half of the year of next year, 2026. They basically are planning to use Klarna USD, the stable coin, for everyday use, as they mentioned. But I think the most important thing is that they will use this for cross-border payments. Possibly Klarna is preparing maybe some major expansion and outside of European Union even maybe. So we need to understand that a stable coin based on the dollar, like Klarna USD, will help them to reduce the time for the time for transaction, cross-border transaction. Basically, it will make a real-time transaction, because in the back, yes, will be some exchanges between fiat and crypto off-ramp, on-ramp. But in fact, for the users, it will be like, 2-3 minutes deal between sending money from, some European country to a non-European country, not part of a SEPA region, as an example. Because Klarna is, by the way, not the first one and not the single one who is doing this. Swift is intending to use crypto and blockchain for cross-border payments. Other big players are also Stripe. So a lot of big players are using this. So crypto becomes not mostly as a payment method for day-to-day use. I mean, still currently not a payment method for day-to-day use. I don't know, in your shop, for your groceries in a shop, but mostly as a vehicle for smooth and simple cross-border payments. And I think this is the main reason behind joining of this stablecoin train and trend that's happening.
And it's usually, that's a really good question. What is the network is used for issuing those types of the smart contracts, I would say. So let's see how it will play out. Once again, there is a lot of capitalization and the focus happening in this place. But another news that I would like to highlight today, that Fintech company Younited strikes €400 million warehouse financing facility. So in this case, a joint city chose the Younited as a main provider for the European market. So Dumitru, what do you think about that?
Well, it's a very interesting move. Younited basically are not doing this by themselves. They are doing this with United States Bank, Citibank. Everything will be, backed by French and Italian consumers' loans. So Younited's latest financial comes as Europe tries to free up more capital for lending and boost its undeveloped loans market. This is a signal for possible economical growth in France and in Italy. It will not be a very highlighted and very big economical growth, but at least it will keep their economies in a good shape, because unfortunately current economies of France and Italy are kept on consumers' loans also. Even, for example, economy of Italy became better in the last 3-4 years. Anyways, also it's a trend for showing the trend that American money are searching to some ways to enter on European market. And it's a good trend. It's a good signal. We wish good luck to Younited in their expansion and not expansion, but growing in France and Italy. Do you think, Igor, that City has some mysterious plan behind this, or is just a very smart investment strategy?
I think it's diversification because with the current events and economic globally, there are a lot of unknowns. And in the portfolio management, I would say in unknowns, the best way is to diversify your risks. And it feels like this movement because European market is the second largest market for the financial services coming from the West world. So I think it's quite logical and it will show the diversity in the plans of the city.
I totally agree. Plus, European fintech market is very interesting, very vibrant one. Of course, United Kingdom companies and startups and fintech products are the leaders on the market. Maybe some Swedish or German companies, our colleagues from German or Swedish fintech companies will think a little bit different. But I honestly think, and by the way, this is proved by the data, that UK products, fintech products are leaders in the market. They are the locomotive of fintech market in Europe. Even by this, American money is starting to enter in European markets, proves that fintech market in Europe has a big potential. Till 2032, if I'm not mistaken, or 2034, I have to check it, but so close to 10 years, the fintech market will grow at least by 10 times. This is the estimation of analytics. So analysts, this is the estimation of analysts. So this is a proof that a demonstration, a clear demonstration that we will still see a lot of growth on this market.
And the third use is pretty interesting because actually it's connected to Apple, and it gave we kind of discussed 20 minutes before recording this episode what really it means. So Ecom introduced an ability to pay with the Apple Pay QR, and it's really interesting because usually Apple infrastructure is locked in for Apple devices and Apple Pay, but that's the case when Ecom is introducing this for the cross devices ability to pay. By default, there is no requirements for the merchant to do any additional steps. All the merchants onboarded to the Ecom, they will have this ability, and the Apple QR code will be displayed. And I'm thinking because usually Apple is not moving any tactical moves. They're trying to create the markets rather than to play the second player role there. And it means that Apple has a lot of appetite going into the acquiring business. And in this case, that actually is happening in offline stores. So it's not something that merchants will do online, which is usually like there you see the buttons for Apple Pay and Google Pay in online payments, and then ability to collect the usual full pan of the card. But that is happening in offline world, and it will show the Apple Pay QR code. It feels like Apple has really good plans for the acquiring business, and the history with the AT&T and Apple learns and educate us that Apple is using the partners to introduce or break the market, and then leverage their size and their technology for becoming a monopoly there. So what do you think about this news, Dumitru?
Apple is looking with a big attention to the offline payment market, where basically, as you also said, exist two options. If you go to a store, the physical store, it's pay either by cash or by card using a POS terminal. And now they enter only as non-player, as just let's call it technical vendor or service vendor, without providing acquiring itself and so on. For the users, it's easy peasy because the merchant is just, everything what the merchant has to do is just to connect to this, and that's it. They don't have, they can have a third option besides cards, card method, beside cash. They can use a third method, which is super great, which is super good. And one moment Apple can come to a master or Visa and say, hey guys, we'll change the rules. Or maybe Apple will come with some payment method, card payment method in the future by themselves, which will be a little bit different from American Express, will be different from Visa and MasterCard. So yeah, possibly it's like this. For those in Europe, it's a mix of BLIK as a payment method in Poland, ideal in Netherlands. For those who know how work WePay with WeChat in China, this is also something similar with this, but with a different payment, different business model and a little bit different approach. But grosso modo is very similar to three of these methods.